Hi everyone and welcome to Positively Kimmie. I am Kimmie. If you are new here, welcome. This is a safe space. And if you're one of my returning subscribers and my besties, hi guys, how are you? I hope you're all having an amazing day. Welcome to What's Up Wednesday, where I tell you a little bit about my life so that you get to know me a little bit better in the chaos that is Kimmie. And if you want, you leave me comments down below and you tell me a little bit about you and we get to know each other better. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you who celebrated. I want to say that one more time because this is my Thanksgiving edition. And when I tell you there was drama at the household, not bad drama, just drama. And the fact that all this can fit into one day is absolutely hysterical. So I hope you'll go on this journey with me. And if you like me and if you like my content, I would appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe, because I'd love to have you back. And we're going to reach 1 million by December of some year. We're at 400 now. So I have my little notes that I took, and I might have to refer to them because there was so much that happened on Thanksgiving Day specifically, that I can't even fathom all the stuff that happened, and it was hysterical, some of it. So Thanksgiving morning, I decided I was going to cook on Wednesday night because I was making green bean casserole and I was also making sweet potato casserole. Both came out amazing. They were so good. And this way we just had to reheat it Thanksgiving Day because you know how everybody's using the stove at the same time. And then you have the turkey in the stove and you don't want to keep opening it and closing it. Well, that's kind of why we decided to make certain foods the night before. Okay, so we get up and my sister slept over and she decided she was going to put the turkey in the oven for my mom because my mom has balance issues. She puts it in and she can't see to save her life. She is considered legally blind, and she decided she was going to put the turkey at 260, which would have been fine had we wanted to eat at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was the first thing. So the oven is barely warm. Like, she didn't preheat the oven, nothing. So it's at 260 with about a 20-pound turkey in it, okay? And I don't know, you guys know I'm just learning how to cook now, so I don't know how many hours or like minutes per pound. I don't know how any of that works. And even if I did, I couldn't figure out the math right now. So forget that. Turns out that morning, my son works in maintenance. And that morning he had to go on Thanksgiving to the hospital because he had an allergic reaction. He was cutting trees, like branches and stuff like that. And he ended up with dots all over his face, his neck, his shoulders, and he's got very, very short hair. So and you could see them in his scalp and everything. And he was very itchy. So he went to the hospital that morning and they gave him some hydrocortisone cream and told him he was having an allergic reaction, shot of Benadryl. Fine, okay. Gets home, and my grandson is sick, and he is throwing up. Go in the room to tell my mom about my grandson being sick, and as I walk in, my cat is in the process of getting sick. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, we've already had a turkey in the oven that we think is cooking fine, okay, and it's not even like mildly warm, the oven at this point. My son goes to the hospital for an allergic reaction. He comes home, his son is sick, and the night before had 103 fever, and next thing you know is just all over the place. Then my cat is getting sick to his stomach also. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, this is the way to start Thanksgiving. My ex-husband comes over, right? And my mom's like, oh, can you do me a favor and check the turkey? And he's like, the oven is at 260. And we go to check the turkey and the turkey is raw. Like, it didn't even, all right, it had been on for about 3 hours at that point. It looked raw. Like, it was the most disgusting thing you have ever seen. So she's like, can you baste it for me and stick it back in? Well, he's basting it. He goes to put it in, loses his balance, goes forward, and all the juice that was in the turkey goes all over the bottom of my stove, and massive amounts of smoke go all over the place. It was hysterical. Now, normally some people might get upset at that. My mom's like, where's the camera? Where's the camera? And I'm like, I have to get out of here because I am so hot at this point. And the window was open and there's smoke all over. And I'm like, you have to get out of my way. I'm having a panic attack right now. I'm laughing my tushy off. And I'm like, you have to just get out of my way. I have to get out of the kitchen. It's so hot in here. And he's like, oh my God, I am so sorry. And we're like, don't worry about it. If we don't have turkey, it's not the end of the world. It's not the only time in your life you can have turkey. You can have it for Christmas if you want. We're going up our son's house later on. He's going to have turkey. It really is not a big deal. Don't worry about it. We'll have sides and pasta. Not a big deal. And he's apologizing profusely. Okay. So then after that, he's like, all right, he has to go home. It's now 2:00. We put the bird up to 3:50. He has to go home and take a shower. And I get a call from my son and he's like, Mom, are you mad at Dad? And I was like, no, as a matter of fact, I thought it was quite funny. And if we had a video of it, I would show it all over the internet because it was hysterical. Before he left, he's like, all right, he's like, I got everything cleaned up. I cleaned out, the bottom of the oven. He's like, we were afraid of like a fire starting maybe if we kept the bird in, but he cleaned out the bottom of the oven. He's like, all right, he's like, the turkey itself did not hit the back wall of the oven. Everything is fine. He's like, we'll just put a little bit more liquid in the bottom and it should be good. Well, by about 4:00, the turkey ended up being done. My grandson couldn't come over because he was not feeling well and had gotten sick to his stomach again. So his dad came over and we're sitting there and we're talking about the raw turkey. The turkey came out of the oven and it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. My son ate a little bit, but we were going up to his house at 5:30 and this was at 4:00. So he just had a little bit to eat just to like sample the foods and everything. I sent him home with what I was supposed to bring over the house. And we are telling him the story and his dad is just like, I am so sorry. That was terrible. My son leaves and I'm like, you know what? Can I just have a little bit of the turkey? And I'm like a dark meat kind of girl. So I was like, can I just have a little bit of the turkey? Can you please cut me a piece? Because I have a plate in my hand of dark meat. Well, he takes the biggest butcher knife you have ever seen and decides he is going to slice the turkey where, the leg area, because that's where the dark meat is. And the turkey is so tender that it's like sliding off the leg. So it was perfect. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I just have on socks because I'm in my own house. And I'm like, why are my feet wet? And next thing you know, I look down and I look at the sink and he had cut through the aluminum tray that we had stuck the turkey in. So now all the juice is going all over the floor. The floor is completely flooded. It was hysterical. And he's like, oh my God. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you trying to sabotage Thanksgiving again this year? Because last year we had an issue and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And he's like, no, I swear, I am so sorry. I'm like, not a big deal. Let's put another tray underneath it. I was like, I don't even want the meat right now. I was like, I'll have some at my son's house. Don't even worry about it. So he's like, I am so sorry. And he's apologizing up the wazoo. He's mopping the kitchen floor because it was soaked. Like there was juice all over the sink, all over the counter, all over the floor. My socks were drenched. I had to change my socks. And I'm thinking like, this is something you would only see on America's Funniest Home Videos. And we didn't catch any of this on tape or camera. And I was just like, it was so funny. So then after that, Then after that, we went to my son's house and the baby all of a sudden pitched a high fever again and broke out in spots. Now my ex-husband is holding him. My sister gave him a hug and a kiss when she went in, and he wanted nothing to do with me, which sometimes happens, and that's fine. We go to leave, and that night, my son calls me up about a half an hour later. He's like, Ma, I was on the phone with the doctor. The baby has Coxsackie. It's highly contagious. He's like, you have a tendency to get things from your grandson. I just want you to be aware. Don't come over for a few days. We'll FaceTime. And I'm like, all right, tell him, give him hugs and kisses. And as I hang up, the baby's getting sick to his stomach again. I was like, okay, this has been a day. All of a sudden, my sister decides she's going to sleep over. And around I don't know, about 3 in the morning. She's like, I don't feel good. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I don't know. I'm freezing. I have the chills. She had 103.6 fever. I was like, okay. I was like, let's take some Tylenol. And she had a massive headache, like a massive, massive headache. And I'm like, let's just take some Tylenol. I was like, if it's a migraine, I have migraine medication. I'm like a drugstore. I have everything you could ever need. And I was like, all right, I have migraine medication. I'm like, don't worry about it. And she's sitting there and she's getting hotter and hotter. I'm like, let's go to the hospital. She's like, no, no, no. I just want to sleep. I'm like, all right, excuse me. I'm like, okay, I won't force you to go to the hospital. But it sounds to me like with the type of headache you're complaining about that you have a migraine. The next day she goes home, and I haven't seen her since then. So the next day she goes home, she's like, I'm just not feeling good. I'm dehydrated. I was like, I'll drop you off some water. You know, tell me what you need. I'll drop it off for you. And she's like, I just want ice cold water. I'm like, all right, fine. She's like, I have a metallic taste in my mouth. She was sleeping the whole time. I'm like, it sounds to me with the headache that you have and Tylenol not getting rid of it, migraine medication not getting rid of it, you might have COVID. And she's like, no, there's no way. I'm like, listen, that little rugrat, my grandson, can get anybody sick. I'm like, so, you know, it probably is that. Turns out she has COVID. So that was the gist of our Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving, my ex-husband, I told him that we got mail for the upstairs neighbors and to bring up the mail to the upstairs neighbors because I wasn't home yet, and he's my caregiver, so I have to come home and sign out, and he was like doing things in the apartment, and I was with my mom at a doctor's appointment, and they bought us a turkey, or someone bought a turkey, and they left it outside the door, and he thought I meant to bring the turkey up to the neighbor's house, which he did. Instead of the mail, he brought the turkey up to the neighbor's house. The neighbors don't speak very good English, and they thanked him and kept our turkey. So we didn't have turkey last year for Thanksgiving. So this man is out to sabotage Thanksgiving. But it was the funniest thing, and we weren't even mad at that last year either. It was like, all right, well, God knew they needed it more than we did and let them have it, you know. So let's see what else happened. Oh, then I looked up Ozempic because I'm putting on weight, and I know I'm putting on weight, and it's very frustrating. And I went on the website. So that was the Thanksgiving stuff. So then I went on the Ozempic website, and they've discontinued making the 0.25 and the 0.5 milligrams, and they're only making 1 milligram and 2 milligrams. And they say they have it, but they haven't allocated what they're going to do with it, who they're going to distribute it to just yet. So I call up different pharmacies, and nobody in New York State can get Ozempic. It is ridiculous because when you're a type 2 diabetic, my numbers have gone from being like 5.8, which is really, really excellent. Like that's not even pre-diabetic. It's a little less than pre-diabetic, back to 7.2. And that's without having the Ozempic. Excuse me. Which is a problem. So hopefully they'll get it and I'll be able to start on it again. Wegovy is out of stock, and so is Mounjaro. So, you know, they're taking the people who can pay cash because it makes more sense for them. They're not just getting a partial payment from an insurance company. They're getting the full $3,800 that it costs for one of these injections for the month. And then I have to tell you guys about one of my subscribers, Gloria. Gloria is an angel, and she is awesome. She goes by The Simple Life, and she makes cards, and she has sent me cards for the longest time that she has made, and I'd love to show them to you. Now, she makes these cards herself, and they're not something you can find in a Hallmark store, let's say. And they are absolutely beautiful. This is one of the cards she had given me, and she always, whoops, I just dropped some. She always puts stickers in her cards. So this was one of them, and this was a get well card. This is the Happy Thanksgiving card that I got with some stickers. I've kept every card you've ever given me, Gloria. I keep every card that anyone sends me. Let me pick up this. Let me put that on. This one she made was Happy Mail. And look at that. This is like 3D. It comes off the page. It's really, really gorgeous. And this one was good luck, good health, and good happiness just for you. And she makes these, and it says, handmade with love, Gloria, simple life. And then this one she gave me when I was in the hospital, and this is what the inside of the card looks like. Sending healing hugs. So if any of you are interested, I will put her name in the description box. Simple Life. If you need a card that is special, that comes with stickers and is made by a wonderful, wonderful person who is just the most thoughtful, kindest person on the planet, where you will not find these cards in stores anywhere. I'm going to put her information below, and you can talk to her if you'd like to purchase any of these cards. And everyone's different, and they're all handmade, and I would love to give her the shout out because I just think they're wonderful, and they made me so incredibly happy that I know it would do the same for you. Anyway, that's the end of What's Up Wednesday. Be happy, be healthy, be blessed, and most of all, be positively you, because there's no one else quite like you, and that makes me so incredibly happy. You guys rock.